He chose young couples in parked cars, people walking home from a night out, anyone who felt safe under the glow of the city lights. New York didn't know his name, only his signature, a brutal pattern, a familiar weapon, and a message written in blood. People stopped going out. Taxi drivers refused certain neighborhoods, and the city that never slept suddenly stayed indoors, terrified that the next echo in the dark might be the one aimed at them. But behind the panic was a man no one suspected, a quiet postal worker named David Berkowitz, a loner with a history of abandonment, isolation, and a mind filled with fantasies he couldn't shut off. Neighbors saw him as odd, but harmless. No one imagined he was watching strangers from the shadows, waiting for the moment to strike. As the attacks mounted, the killer left taunting notes, calling himself the Son of Sam. He mocked police, threatened more violence, and wrote with the confidence of someone who believed he could not be caught. Newspapers printed his letters on the front page, and Berkowitz watched the headlines like trophies, fueling the very fear he created. Detectives worked around the clock. Different boroughs, different victims, same weapon, but no clear suspect. They built psychological profiles, questioned thousands, and followed leads that evaporated overnight. The pressure was unlike anything the NYPD had ever seen. But every killer makes a mistake, and Berkowitz made his in the form of a parking ticket. One of his attacks happened near a fire hydrant, and someone noticed a car illegally parked. The plate traced back to Berkowitz. Investigators arrived at his apartment, saw the gun in the back seat, and knew the hunt was over. Berkowitz didn't run. He didn't deny anything. He simply said, "You got me." But the story didn't end there. In court, Berkowitz claimed he was commanded by a demon inside his neighbor's dog, a claim that sparked national debate. Was it insanity, manipulation, or a calculated attempt to build mythology around his crimes? Experts argued both sides. He was ultimately declared competent and sentenced to life, but inside prison, he changed his tune again. He eventually admitted the demon story was a lie, a way to control the narrative and amplify the terror he had created. What he really wanted wasn't chaos. It was attention, power, a sense of importance he never felt in his real life. And the city paid the price. Decades later, the scars remain. The empty streets, the panic, the fear of not knowing who might be lurking behind the next corner. The Son of Sam murders reshaped how New York understood random violence, and how police approach serial killer investigations. And while the man behind the terror sits in a cell, the shadow he cast over the city never fully faded. This is Criminal Origins, where we uncover the rise and downfall of the world's most feared figures.